Hi there, and welcome to this episode of Watch Kevin Almost Lose His Mind waiting in lines for over 3 hours. I just landed on Thai Airways from beautiful Bali, and I'm now transiting, self-transiting of course, to Zip Air for my first flight of this Japan series, up to Tokyo Narita. Now, I'm not sure who needs to hear this, but when it comes to airline website usefulness, Zip Air's ranks up there with a stale Tic Tac. My blind chihuahua could literally be more helpful. So I wasn't sure if Zip Air had a transfer desk here in Suvarnabhumi, and it turns out they don't. I was told they're one of the very few that don't. So I needed to enter Thailand, no problem, except the immigration line took 95 minutes. Luckily, I had 4.5 hours to transit. Before I get any further into my heroic tale, let me introduce myself to those of you that are new to the channel. My name is Kevin, and I am the Flip Flop Traveler. I'm here to give you honest content about flights, hotels, trains, and cruises. I paid for this stay out of pocket, and as always, the price that I paid is in the description below. Zip Air had no knowledge that I'd be filming, and I didn't receive any compensation for doing so. Everything in this video is my personal opinion, based on my own unique experience. The rest, I'll let speak for itself. Let's get started. Zip Air has been rolling out online check-in slowly since they began operations in 2020. But, you may have guessed, it wouldn't allow me to check in, and said that I needed to proceed to the check-in counter. Okay, no problem. So I found the counter 3 hours and 15 minutes prior to boarding, and I was approximately 800th in line. I should probably mention at some point that tonight I'm flying in Zip Air's flatbed class. Essentially, they're business class, but no, business class it most certainly is not. In the eyes of Zip Air, there is no business class. There are simply regular seats and lie flat seats. Your ticket essentially includes your seatbelt and an armrest if you're nice. There was a speedy check-in option which you could pay additionally for, but honestly, A, I didn't think I'd need to enter Thailand, and B, I thought that the lie flat class would have its own desk. Anyway, I was in this line for 65 minutes, and was feeling oh so comfortable in my 2 pairs of jeans. You see, I paid for as much carry-on baggage as you could, 8 kilos. But when I got to Tokyo, I'd again be self-connecting to another flight. So I knew I needed to get my slightly over 8 kilo carry-on through. So I did the tackiest thing possible one could do in this situation. I put on a lot of clothes. And sweat. I got to the check-in counter, and they didn't want to weigh my bag. I even offered. No problem. So I quickly peeled off 3 layers of clothes and headed to security. Good God. Bangkok really just doesn't want to see me go. I've never seen security lines that started downstairs, significant lines downstairs. We are now 65 minutes from boarding. 50 minutes later, 50, I was finished with security and immigration. My gate? E9. I'm just thankful that this isn't like the 10th largest terminal on Earth. Oh, it is? Well, at least E9 doesn't sound that far away. Oh, it's the furthest gate away possible, more than 900 meters? Okay, no problem. I got to the gate 10 minutes after boarding was meant to start. Guess what? Flight was delayed. They didn't think that that hour delay would be pertinent to put on the departures board, or, anything like that. Okay, I'll turn the salty part down now. From here on out, it was an exceedingly pleasant experience. Honestly, like 90% of it was. So, Zip Air. Honestly, every time I see it, in my mind, I say Zip Air, despair. I don't know why, but I can't stop it. Zip Air is the long-haul, low-cost arm of Japan Airlines, which was announced in 2018 and had its first passenger flight in 2020. Its first regular destination was Bangkok, and they currently serve 8 destinations from their hub at Tokyo Narita. They do so with 8 787-8s, with 2 more on order. Now, the concept of Zip Air, this very specific flavor of low-cost airline, is one that intrigues me beyond what words can describe. Forget about making trip reports for a moment. For my own personal preferences in travel, if I could save money by selecting only one aspect of business class, that would be, hands down, a business class seat. No alcohol, no food, no service, no power, no Wi-Fi, no entertainment, no seatbelt. besides that last one, I can do without the rest. So an airline selling cheap reverse herringbone seats is what flip-flop dreams are made of. And in that regard, they do very well. Alright, let's get on board. Boarding began 50 minutes behind schedule. As we head down the jet bridge, let's take a look at tonight's flight stats. I stepped on board and was quickly greeted as I found my seat for the next 5 hours, 1 kilo. Boarding was a little bit sketchy. Apparently the delay was due to an electrical problem, which they didn't fix entirely before boarding began. So half of that process was done in the dark. Not ideal. What is ideal, though, is the oh-so-sleek black leather flatbed seat. Laid out in a standard 1-to-1 configuration, the bones of this seat are actually the same that you'll find in KLM's newest business class, but just the bare bones of it. I was actually really pleasantly surprised with the seat itself. Japan Airlines has a regional version of their 787s with reverse herringbone seats, and they are the most cramped on the market. My review of it is linked above and below. I just assumed that it would be the same here, but they're a different seat entirely. For sure, Zip Air seats are more comfortable than the comparable Japan Airlines seat. Privacy for this first row is fantastic, since there's no neighbors and service on board is super limited, so the galley isn't really a thoroughfare. Here's an interesting look. It just looks naked. There was, however, one very strange thing that I've never experienced on any airline before. The 2 passengers in row number 1 will be asked to assist in the event of an emergency evacuation. In addition to the safety briefing, one friendly member of crew came over and explained the role that I needed to play. So, get this. When an evacuation is ordered, passengers sitting in row 1 are to stand up, get in the aisle, and block the aisle. We were instructed to stand facing the back of the cabin with our arms crossed in an X, screaming, "Stop, wait for cabin crew instructions." Mind you, this would be after the evacuate command was already given. Once the doors were open, the crew would tell me, and then I would vacate the aisle and get my ass off the plane. So here's the itsy bitsy problem that I can foresee. They don't tell this system to the other passengers. If you were in the seat behind me, and the plane was actively evacuating, and some guy in the seat in front of you stood in the aisle and said, "Nope, you're not getting off yet," what would you do? You would knock me the hell over, and rightfully so. Anyway, I'm not sure why this is necessary, but I would just suggest that Zip Air simply explain the procedure to the entire cabin to prevent the innocent passengers in row 1 from being trampled by an angry mob. Last thing before we push back, the tray table. I thought mine was broken because I couldn't push it back in. It turns out that slim pocket below is not large enough for my iPad, and each time I tried to close it, I was crushing my iPad a little bit. So take care. Here's your friendly reminder to click that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with friends and family. Those are truly the easiest ways, and all free for you to help support the channel. If you'd like to support me further, my Patreon is also linked in the description below. Thanks very much in advance. Okay, let's push back. And you know what comes next. We taxied, spooled up, and took off. Enjoy all that, along with the airport stats, coming up next.
Security present without twisting and loosening until seat belts, table, and tablet holders are returned to the original positions. Also, please check if your child's seat belt is securely fastened as well. Thank you.
So, as we wait for my prepaid meal to be served, let's take a look at my prepaid comfort items. Actually, let's first take a look at how all of this is priced. My flatbed fare with taxes was $491.27. On top of that, I paid $9.98 in order to select my specific seat. Money very well spent. I also paid $23.50 for my carry-on bag, and another $17.85 for my amenity set. So there are no blankets and pillows and stuff like that at the seat. You need to buy everything. You can buy each item individually, or you can buy a kit, with or without a reusable tote bag. I chose the kit without the tote bag and was delivered this bag shortly after takeoff. And I gotta be honest, there were a couple things in here that were better than lots of real business class items out there. First of all, that blanket is like the softest thing that I think I've ever touched. I stressed about my carry-on weight and carried it around on 10 more flights after this one because I just wanted to keep it. There were also slippers, too small, but I did like the branding, as well as the neck pillow, which I also kept. I think $17 is a fair price for this, especially for a longer flight to the US. There is Wi-Fi on board with streaming entertainment, as well as an onboard map. Soon after that came my pre-booked meal. The Wagyu beef curry was $19.99. Now, to be fair, this was the most expensive thing on the menu, but I wanted to be fancy. For what it was very good. Would I get the Wagyu again? Probably not. I'd rather spend that $20 and get 2 non-Wagyu portions of something else, since they are pretty small. Anything else you'd like to order, you can do so from your device. Since there was a whole registration process and stuff with your credit card, I ordered 2 Asahi together for a reasonable price of 500 yen each. They were brought to me like 30 seconds after I placed the order, and the menu online also had a real-time inventory count if something was running out of stock. Very cool touch. What else could you do on their portal? Well, you could watch a movie, listen to Spotify, check out the in-flight map, and buy underwear. Because, you know, Japan. A quick check of the toilet found a Spartan interior, which was clean and had a bidet as well. Here's a look at the seat in full flat mode. Gotta say, for the price, honestly, 0 complaints about the seat. 0. I slept for a couple of hours and woke up as the sun began to rise as we approached the land of the rising sun. That worked out nicely. Service on board, like I said, is very limited. There really isn't any proactive service, just some announcements. Pre-ordered items were delivered right after takeoff, and anything else that you wanted to order on the app would be brought directly to you. The crew otherwise were very polite and friendly. And with that, we began our final descent into Narita, crossing over the coastline. Enjoy the beautiful views and landing. The airport stats are coming up next. On our long taxi to the gate, we had a bit of an aviation tour, first passing by the exact place that I needed to head to next. So, Zip Air, worth it? Absolutely, but that's not to say that I don't think it could be better. Japan Airlines is one of the most organized and efficient carriers that I've ever flown, and so the cluster you-know-what of a ground experience in Bangkok and the lack of an online check-in and transfer desk is simply beneath them. If they were an independent, cheap startup, I guess I'd understand. But you'd think that they'd be able to borrow a bit of know-how from JAL. That said, for the right price, I'd fly them again in a heartbeat. Okay, time for me to enter Japan, take a bus to another terminal, and then check in, once again. I really do hope that you enjoyed this trip report today. If you did, please be sure to click that like button and subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss out on my twice weekly videos. I'll see you next time on board Jetstar Japan as I head down to Osaka Kansai. Oh, and as always, thanks for watching until the end.